Extension Health and Wellness Market is Saturday, November 6th. If you are in Fort Lauderdale, stop by for giveaways, cooking demos, free samples, and more. Plus, we'll be discussing personalized strategies for your wellness program. So mark your calendars and join us live Saturday, November 6th at the Life Extension Health and Wellness Market. Now, please enjoy our Encore presentation.
All right, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike, your host, and I'm with my co-host,
Dr. Crystal.
And we are really excited today. We're on set. We're on location. That's a better way of saying it, right? We're on location at the Life Extension brand new health and wellness market. It's our local spot.
I know.
This is where we find our supplements, and some of us spend a lot of money at the store.
You know, it's not shameful. You know what? It's all good. Dr. Mike almost had a fit when I told him that I spent
You don't have to say the
weekend,
number.
I won't say the number, but
It was a lot.
pretty penny. But I just lose my mind when I go in health and wellness markets.
Yeah,
I do. I stay in, I can stay in
The
for
audience,
hours.
the audience already knows that you try everything, right? I'm sure after we're done, they're going to take the stuff here that we're going to talk about and try them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we wanted to know, like, where is your favorite market, right? Like, where do you like to go? Why don't you comment in the comment section your favorite store and what you like about it. Now, the Life Extension Health and Wellness Market is much more than just a market.
Yes.
There's clinical research here. We have laboratory services. We have a to-go area of food and coffee and smoothies and all that kind of stuff. So it's much more than just supplements, and we're really excited to be here. So go ahead and comment and tell us about your store and what you specifically like about it. But what we're going to do today is we're going to open the door to personalized wellness. As you walk in to your favorite market, we want you to think of it like you're personalizing your journey into your favorite place, just like we do here. And we're going to talk about some things that are important to consider.
Yes,
components to a really good health and wellness market, right? So the first thing we're going to start off with is quality and research.
That's right.
Quality
That's
and
what Life
research.
Extension is all about.
Yeah. It's really who we are when it comes to the quality aspect.
That is the core of who we are. Quality, science-based, research-based, and that's a part of the personalization because it's based on research.
Based on research, and then we also like to look at the whole person, right? And what you're going through and what you're experiencing, what your goals are.
Exactly.
Our goals, Dr. Crystal and I, we both believe in natural medicine. We believe in supplementation and healthy eating. But I promise you, we have completely different goals. She wants to be like Superwoman.
Yes.
And I just want to not have aches and pains.
I agree, Dr. Mike.
Robson's laughing at me. By the way, we have Robson in the background. Robson, say hi. Yay. And we have Hannah who's playing around over here with some camera. I'm really not sure what Hannah's doing.
I don't know.
That's fine.
She's making us look fabulous.
Yeah. So information, innovation, and personalization. I like that.
Yes.
Information, innovation, and personalization.
Well, that's how Life Extension started as an information company. Before, we didn't start off with selling supplements and, people trying to get rich. It was all about information. It
was a newsletter.
Started off with the newsletter.
I've seen the original newsletter. Did I tell you that before?
No.
Kathy is our executive assistant.
Oh, really?
She has the original first newsletter that went out, and it's just like a piece of paper. It's nothing fancy, This is back 1980?
Oh gosh, yes.
81, something like that. So, information, innovation, and personalization. The first thing we wanted to talk about Life extension is what we call an extract-based company, a standardization-based company, and that comes from the research. What do we mean by that?
Well, it means that, and when you look at a label, you'll see it. It's when you have an herb or any type of plant-based fruit. In the research, oftentimes there is a specific component or components in that plant that research has shown to be, giving that plant the benefit.
Right.
So it's why you're taking that particular herb or that particular nutrient.
Yeah.
What we want to get out of that sometimes comes down to very specific nutrients. And so when you standardize a supplement, you're guaranteeing a specific amount
Now this
of
is
that nutrient.
This is in comparison to some companies that are whole food based, right?
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. It's just our position. It's the way we look at it. So you could take something like pomegranate.
Yeah.
I always go to pomegranate.
It's
my favorite.
It's your favorite.
You could make a whole fruit pomegranate product, right? And that would be great. There's nothing wrong with that. But we know there are compounds in pomegranate that are really responsible for the benefit.
Punicalagin.
So you take that and you standardize it. Did you practice saying that?
No.
That came out just fine. You surprised yourself, didn't you?
I know, right?
You take that key compound based on the research and you make sure you have that amount in the product. That's an extract based or standardization based approach.
Yes,
right?
and it's guaranteeing potency.
Yeah, we have a label.
Yes, it's the
This
label.
Can you put that up? Robson's going to put up the label for us.
Of a Siberian rhubarb.
So Siberian rhubarb is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Siberian rhubarb has been shown to be beneficial and helpful for some issues during menopause and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so you could do the whole plant.
You could.
And there are products out there like that.
Right. But see, one thing about plants is that the active constituents or components can vary based on the season, based on the growing environment.
Yeah. Who's growing it?
Who's growing it, where it's grown, the quality of the soil. So if you just have Siberian rhubarb, there's no real guarantee that you're receiving those active constituents.
And the active constituents are the things we're going to concentrate.
Exactly.
We're going to rev up based on the research in that product, and that's what we do at Life Extension. So if you go back to that label, here you got the Siberian rhubarb at 4 milligrams, but then it's standardized, you can see, to a couple key components in there.
Yes.
And that standardization is based on the research. And why do we do that? Those are the compounds that have been shown really to give you the benefit.
Exactly, and it's all about uniformity as well.
Yeah, uniformity.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's good. Not bad. You're having a good day. All right, so that's standardization, all based on the science. Tell us a little bit more. A lot of people say this, right, Dr. Crystal, that, well, we're science-based. I mean, I don't think there's a company in the industry that doesn't say that.
Right.
Like, why would you? Oh, we're not science-based. I mean, that just wouldn't be a good, right, Rob? That would not make a good product. So everybody says that, right?
Exactly.
What does that actually mean? What does it mean to us? What should it mean to our audience watching? What should science-based really mean? What are the components of that?
Well, it means that we emulate the science to the T, and that would mean that, the standardization, we're making sure that we're using the exact raw material that was used in the research. It also means that we're using exact dosing that was
from the
used
research, right?
From the research. So we're trying to, or our goal is to match the research as closely as possible.
Yeah, great point, right? So if research shows, let's go back to pomegranate. Say the key compound again. Let's see if you can do it.
Punicalagin.
Yeah.
Ellagic acid. Do you want more?
No.
Okay.
We got to focus. So let's go back to the pomegranate, and let's say there's some good clinical research showing benefit to healthy blood pressure or something like that, right?
Right.
But it takes I'm just making this up, 100 milligrams of pomegranate, right? And let's say out of that 100, half of it needs to be those key compounds.
That's right.
If you go and make then a product of pomegranate that's 2 milligrams and is not standardized at all, that's not really science-based then, is it?
You know, and you see that a lot, Dr. Mike.
You do.
And
You
we're
see
not
the
here-
lower doses.
You
Yeah.
do see it oftentimes. I see it a lot of times with men's health, with prostate health, and saw palmetto.
Real low dose, which cheaper that way too.
Exactly.
Less stuff going in. It's cheaper to make, but yet you can still sell it for a high price.
So those are things to look for, you know, at your local market.
We Life Extension here at the Health and Wellness Market. We mentioned before, it's not just supplements, right? We have clinical research.
Yes, we do.
Life Extension, we do real clinical research, right? I mean, it's pretty awesome. And you could actually be a part of some of the studies now, right? We have.
Yes.
Tell us about one that's online.
We have one, it's a virtual one, minor pain and discomfort, and you get perks. You
Get
know, I
perks for this?
participated in a few clinical studies. I know he's going to laugh. Back in the day, I know they've kind of restricted it a little bit for employees now, but back when we could,
You did it. You jumped
I
right
did.
on in.
But I wanted
You did it
to
for the
play
perks.
my part.
You know,
to-
you wanted the perks.
to
Play her
research.
part. She wanted free supplement.
But some of the perks, really, it's, you know, you can get compensated for your time, free supplements, gift card for this one. Even a referral bonus is available. So if you're interested in participating in the clinical trial that we're currently recruiting for, you can visit lifeextension.com/clinical research.
And again, it's clinical research on supplements, on nutrients.
Right.
In this case, looking at minor pain and discomfort. So
Yes.
check that out. Again, that's lifeextension.com/clinical research. I don't know of a lot of other companies that do their own clinical research.
No, but I think it speaks to who we are.
Again, it goes back to that idea of science-based, right? Everybody says it. What does it really mean? It means that if you look at a label, these doses and these standardizations are what you're going to find in the published papers.
That's right.
That's the proof of it, right? It's not a lower dose. We do standardize based on those papers. That's science-based, and then we back it up with some research of our own.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's move on now. We're going to change focus a little bit here.
Switch gears.
We're going to talk about understanding numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, numbers on labels, specifically now more food-based labels, right?
Yes. So
tell us
the
about that.
nutrition facts, and so whenever you're in your health and wellness market, you know, you still have to look at your labels, see what's in there, you know, key components to understand
I need my
on your
glasses.
label. Oh goodness, Dr. Mike. I put a copy of the label on your note cards. Looking at your nutrition facts, a couple of key things that stand out that Dr. Mike, you've always talked about are the net carbs.
Oh, yeah.
Those are your favorite
Yeah,
to kind of calculate.
I do. I think that's important. I think knowing the carbs that really influence insulin is really the key thing. And so,
Exactly.
net carbs is those carbs influencing insulin production, which is a big problem for a lot of people.
Yes, so these are, you know, when you look at your total carbohydrates on the label, you can then look to see, is there any fiber in this product?
That's what you want to see more, right?
You know,
Yeah.
I want the fiber to be there. And so you can actually subtract the amount of fiber from that total
So,
amount of carbs.
Let's put that label up.
Yes.
Robson, pop that up. So let's look at the carbs. Let's calculate net carbs.
Oh goodness, Dr. Mike. Okay.
You need a calculator?
A little bit, no. So we have 30 grams of carbohydrates.
You can see that?
Yes.
30 grams of carbohydrates.
I'm looking at a label, everyone. I know Robson has the label up on the screen. And then there are 8 grams of fiber. So
Yeah.
you just subtract the
that
8
out, yeah.
from the 30, and that leaves you 22
2 grams.
grams.
Net carbs, basically.
carbs,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so that's important. Now, the other thing about labels today and understanding numbers, and this is something that all foods have to now have on their labels,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's the added sugars.
Yes.
What exactly are added sugars?
Well, you know that fruit naturally contains sugars. There's just sugars that's going to be in anything, most things that you eat, even
Right.
dairy will contain a certain amount of sugar. So on the previous labels, the manufacturers only had to list out total sugars. But now they have to list out, am I adding more sugar to this product? So for example, if you have canned peaches, okay?
Yeah.
The peaches will naturally contain sugar, but oftentimes those peaches are in syrup.
Yeah, and that's the added
That's
sugar.
the added
Yeah,
sugar
yeah.
that you're not getting naturally from that food.
Yeah, and what is, let's see, I don't remember what the number is, maybe you do. No more than, what is it, 9 grams, 10 grams of added sugar a day?
I looked into this when we were researching. It's actually 50 grams. I almost fell out of my chair.
Wait,
I thought
50
it was 25 grams, and when I went back to look,
That's too much.
It's too much,
That's
right?
not-
So,
no.
and this is based on around a 2,000 calorie diet. No more than 200 of those calories should be
The carbs,
from the added sugar.
from the added sugar, right?
Yes.
But that's a lot, that initial number.
I think that's a lot. I mean,
So in this label, Robson, if you put it back up, this is a bar that Life Extension has, and you can see there's 1 gram of added sugars, right? So
Yes.
there's natural sugars from the natural ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's 1 gram of added sugar to
Yes.
that, right? That's fine.
Yes.
That's okay to see.
I mean, when you compare that to the 8 grams of fiber, this is the kind of label that I would like to see all the time.
Yeah. What about fiber, total fiber, right? So we talked about net carbs. By the way, it depends on what your goals are. Some people say your net carbs should be less than 100. If you're really trying to be paleo type thing, whatever, you might say less than 50, less than even 25.
Yes, it all depends.
It depends on really where you're at. But usually, if your net carbs are less than 100, you're doing a pretty good job, I
Yes.
think, overall. What about fiber?
Fiber, at least 30 grams of fiber.
Yeah.
Upwards of 40.
You know, I'm close. We've talked about this.
Yes.
I'm close.
I definitely suggest on the higher side
Yeah.
of the fiber. It really helps to balance out and support healthy blood sugar. It's great for healthy bowel movements.
Yeah.
It's great for your flora.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but now everybody's a little different too with fiber as well,
That's
right?
true.
So, I think push it up and keep pushing it up, but at some point you're going to reach you're going to know when you have enough fiber.
Well, don't push it without adding in fluids. Don't
That's
do it
important.
without the water,
Yeah.
because yes, you will have some gassiness, some bloating
Yeah.
from the fiber, but usually your body will kind of get used to those higher amounts of fiber.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. This is unofficial. It's a Dr.
It's making me
Mike-ism.
nervous.
It's a Dr. Mike-ism. So I'm telling you right now, that's my disclaimer. It's a Dr. Mike-ism. I always like to look at the total, not net, just look at total carbs, right? I like to see half of that being fiber.
I like that.
I mean, it's real simple. I'm not saying
Can
it's like
I-
this perfect. No, you can't use it. It's
I
mine.
want to use that.
Yeah, and so like in this case, and again, you don't have to be perfect about it, but it's just like a round way of thinking of it.
Yes.
So if you're at 50 carbs in something, you'd like to see 20, 25 grams of fiber, something like that.
I love that. I mean, because in nature, that's how it occurs.
Yeah.
If you're eating
There's more natural fibers,
whole
yeah.
grains without, the husk or the
So
bran
you-
removed, you're going to get a lot of fiber.
So you liked that
I
Dr.
like
Mike
that. You made me
Robson,
nervous.
that's pretty
I didn't
good.
know what he was going to say.
No, when I do my Dr. Mike-isms, I always let you know it's a Dr. Mike-ism. Robson? Hannah's doing something over there. I'm not even sure still. All right, now we're going to move in. Probably, this is a much larger conversation, what we're going to talk about next. We've talked about lab testing before, and we're going to continue to talk about lab testing because it's so important. When you're talking about personalized wellness, there's nothing more personalized than drawing some blood or giving some saliva or some urine or a hair. I mean, that's a piece of who you are.
Right.
And we're able to look at that and see where there may be some gaps.
Absolutely.
In your nutritional status. So I'm a big proponent of lab testing. I know that you are, and I hope everybody watching does as well. Now, Life Extension offers, how many lab tests do we have now?
Oh my goodness, over, was it 400?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot.
I think it was the last stat, we talked about this, it was over 250.
250 lab.
Yes.
So I think we have over 400 supplements.
Yes.
And 250 labs. And again, I mean, we covered all the basics. There's advanced testing. There's nutrient testing, hormonal testing. All of that can be very important. And again, that's such a big conversation to have.
Yes, and lab testing. I mean, we have branched out to now saliva testing, urine testing, stool testing.
Yeah.
We do the cheap swabs to do some of the genetic analysis as well.
It's the evolution of laboratory testing, right? Back in the day, it was mostly just blood or urine, and we didn't really know how to analyze a lot of the other methods.
Right.
But what we've learned over the years is that certain things are better maybe to look at urine, other things stool, blood. Good old-fashioned blood testing is best for some things, right?
Yes.
And so we've evolved with the information, and so we're adding more and more different ways to do laboratory testing.
Yes.
That makes sense. If you're interested in it, Life Extension male and female panels.
Oh, those are the best.
It's just very simple. It's not simple; it's a lot.
Well, that's why it's the best.
But it's simple because it's one test. It's one test you have to purchase.
Yes.
But I don't even know how many things are testing on that.
I mean,
now.
just the CBC chemistry portion tests over 35 metabolic markers.
That's just
complete
one
blood
part
count,
of that. Yeah.
Liver health, kidney health.
Some hormones.
Is as well. It's an amazing panel.
Yeah. So hopefully every year you should be getting something like that. Keep in mind, it's more than what your traditional or conventional doctor would probably order, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of gaps in some of the stuff that your doctor may order that Life Extension can fill those gaps for you with different tests.
Yes.
Right. The other thing we wanted to talk about was seeking guidance with personalized wellness. Tell us what you feel about that.
Well, I feel like sometimes we try to do things on our own, and we read and we seek Dr. Google. Google's always right? And there are health professionals that can also help you to personalize your your regimen or whatever you're trying to do. They can help to guide you. Integrative practitioners, functional medicine practitioners, functional medicine nutritionists, dietitians can also help as well. If you can find an integrative practitioner like
That's
Dr.
great.
Mike,
Yep.
you can find a doctor that may be open-minded. Actually, Life Extension has a resource on our website, our integrative practitioner finders.
Yep.
You can go there, type in your zip code, and search for an integrative practitioner.
Yep.
So,
and be careful of Dr. Google, though. Dr. Google, we're here. The funny thing about it, well, it's not funny. It scares people. You have a symptom of something, right? And you put it in, and in the worst case scenario is what pops up most of the time.
That is true.
And then people go into their doctors not asking about that, saying, "I have this." Yeah, it's
that used to be me, Dr. Mike, and I would go to Dr. Mike and I would say, "What's going on with me?" And he would say, "You'll live."
Yeah, you'll live. You're fine.
You're fine.
So listen. There's a lot of information out there, and there's nothing wrong with information, but always know who's giving you that information.
Yes.
Check your sources and filter it. I think this is where filters are important. You gotta just take a break, maybe back off a little bit, take some of that information into your doctor or your practitioner and have that discussion with them. Google is not supposed to diagnose you.
Very true.
Yeah. So lab testing, very important, and seeking guidance as well. So we've kind of went through a little journey
That was a nice journey.
here in the life extension health and wellness market. We walked through the supplements a little
Yes.
bit. We talked about labels, standardization, and our philosophy on that, right? We looked at food labels and added sugars and fibers and net carbs. We went and had a little journey to the labs, clinical
Yes.
research, and seeking guidance. So yeah, let us know again in the comments, like what's your favorite store and what's your journey you like to do in that store, right?
I like the samples. I forgot to say that part.
Yeah, here's the difference between Dr. Crystal and myself. If I need a supplement, I come in, I find it, and I'm out in 1 minute.
Not-
How long do you take?
Oh, I mean, it's a journey.
Hours,
I
probably.
like to explore because there's always something new, and it's just, I walk in the doors and it just makes me feel good.
That's good, Dr. Crystal.
Yes.
I want you to feel good.
Yes.
I want to thank everybody for watching. Hopefully this was helpful and informative and also fun. We love being here.
I know.
So,
And we're fully vaccinated, so
well,
I
oh,
can
that's right.
see you
We're
in
fully
person.
vaccinated. And so we're allowed to not have our masks on and be close. So that's, we probably should tell them that.
Yes.
We're not breaking any guidelines or anything like that. So anyways, thank you for watching so much. Leave your comments. We'd love to hear about how you're doing, your favorite stores and all that. I'm Dr. Mike, and this is
Dr. Crystal.
Until next time, bye-bye.